Welcome to Zyto Training 5.0, February 27th, 2013. We're going to be recording a new session. And we open up our Zyto program and we load up our patient. I already had the patient uploaded from the inventory. And the first category we begin with is stressors. So we click the stressor scan linear button. And we put in categories that represent possible sources of stressors that are affecting the person's symptomatology. Using the home run formula, we begin with mental emotional. I select the 5-element emotional category. Click the sidebar to move that into the items for stressor scan. We move to our second category, structure. As a doctor of chiropractic, I put in things that represent structure, such as spine. And we put in the organs, glands, and subsystems. I put in food and the subcategories of food that could be stressors. And I put in categories according to the patient's history that represent possible sources of environmental toxins. And we click on the All category to select everything. The patient then places their hand on the cradle and begins scanning. And we have the red categories, so we click Next. And this visual diagram represents all the things that we need to work on to bring back into homeostasis. This circle represents homeostasis. We want to move these red dots in towards homeostasis or balanced. So I look at the overall categories and scan down as a practitioner. And if we work using the home run formula and addressing the first item, mental emotional stress, I put in a suggestion. I double click the All button to make sure all the categories are checked and highlighted. Then the patient's hand is back on the cradle and we click Next to scan how these suggested balancers work for the scenario, and we get 2 in agreement. We click next to move these over. Now just using these two, we're going to put these in the circuit by highlighting the triangle and rescan. This will rescan all of the out of balance items with the balancers and reassess how this is going to look on the right here. And just from working just on the mental emotional, not only did we calm that down, but we had quite a few others that calmed down here. And then we have our next highest items here, and we're looking for more balancing to detoxify or remove these sources of stress. Okay, so the goal is to continue moving stressors into the balance section. So we're going to consider some detoxification protocols next. And putting detoxification nutritionals into a consideration for balancers, reassessing. Reassessment is a preview into the future. It tells us literally how a suggested remedy, whether it be supplement or homeopath, will benefit the patient. So we see more balancers being balanced as the reds are shifting into the green inside the circle here. And it looks like we still have some detoxification. I'm going to suggest possible food combining or specific dietary recommendations. And each time we have a recommendation, we have to then click the triangle link to say I want to check this in the circuit compared to what's still left out of balance. So I go to my rescan button. Again, the patient is still holding on to the cradle throughout the session. And when we run additional balancers and we're not seeing major movement, sometimes we have to re-strategize and look to see what's going on in the combination of what's left as out of balance items. I'm going to pre-select just physic energetics and some of the detoxification protocols. If the patient gets tired holding the cradle with one hand, you can have them switch. And again, remembering to put in the suggested balancer back into the circuit. We rerun the assessment. And we got a noticeable difference there with that recommendation, so we had to do further detoxification. And it appears the remaining items are just food items, and so since we have a food category of a type of diet, we're going to now rerun what's left and click the rescan stressors with, and so this screen comes up to just verify you just want to rerun this with these 4 here. You could actually add back in some other items. We're just going to focus on shifting the red ones to green, which means more balance, less symptoms. And so we had to kind of go backwards before we went forward, and now we have complete balance verified by everything in green here. And to the right here, all of the items that were once red and outside the circle are now inside the circle, shift to green. Again, verifying that we have symptomatology calmed down for the patient's situation. And so all of the items that are in the circuit are the ones with the triangles. And so this patient would need all of these items to balance out their first program. And I can create a report by clicking Session Reports. And it can do a printout here of the suggested treatment protocols, whether it be treatments or specific homeopaths or nutritional protocols. And so this can be a printout for the patient or for the front desk to then order the supplements and let the patient know. And so we can click email to forward that to the front desk to print out. And that concludes our session using Zyto 5.0.